Hey, welcome everybody. I know that one of the most important things, especially as an elder millennial and a nerd, is to be able to share my love for games, gaming, imaginative creations, and things like that with my family. It's really important to get them away from their phones, to get them looking at each other, playing with each other, and I know that a lot of our listeners are the same way, looking for new games to help the people that you love, friends, family, to join together in a gaming experience, to grow those relationships, to have fun with one another, and make some memories. That is the purpose and the power behind my next guest, Ryan Gutowski, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about One Board Family here in Columbus and exactly all the things that he is doing with that. Hi, Ryan. Thank you so much for being a guest.
What's up, David? You doing all right, man?
I am bearing up under the strain of it, I think is what Mark Twain used to say. Okay. No, but we're having a good time. Just got back from Disney World. Nice. By the way, that's everybody why we didn't have an episode last week, but got back from the House of Mouse and doing good. What about you guys?
We're doing good. I feel like our December break was kind of getting sick and playing board games with extended family. That was kind of the theme. So I feel like all the kids got sick, and then I got sick, and then Aaron got sick. Oh, no. We're all good now. Yeah. But it's one of those things where actually it kind of slows you down, which is kind of a nice thing. Yeah. So it slowed us down a little bit, but it was good. Had a lot of good family time. Had a lot of like extended family time, which was good. Gaming during the holidays is always one of my favorites. So,
it definitely makes a lot of memories. I know a bunch of us, just talking about illnesses, we had that run of cold weather here, and I know that has caused difficulty with folks with, just yesterday we had a big a rain band move through, and a lot of my friends were like, oh, I can't go do stuff, got headaches and stuff like that. So the rest of the family, are you guys doing okay?
Yeah, we're
getting healthier?
We're good now.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So we just had to go through our bout of it. So that's
it has to run through especially kids bringing it back from school, man. They're little 100%. Petri dishes. So tell us a little bit about One Board Family. Where did that come from? How did that get formed? And what are some of the cool things that are going on with you guys?
Yeah, so One Board Family I would like to say it was like a long-term passion or dream. It actually came about because I was on Instagram, and I was through my personal Instagram account, I was just talking about board games. Yeah. And I would pull a board game off the shelf. I'm like, this is why I love this board game. Yeah. It was basically selling a board game to a random person who found my Instagram or friends of ours. And I had enough friends of mine approach me and say, I really like reading these. Like, why don't you think about doing this? And I was like, that would be fun. I think I would enjoy that. Yeah. And so it was after dinner one night, we had some friends, the Ennises. We hung out with them for dinner, had dinner with them, and they said, we really enjoy the Instagram posts. We love the board games that you're talking about. You should do something with it. And that was like the 5th time it came up. I was like, I'm going to do something. So we ended dinner. Aaron and I went back to the bedroom, and I said, Aaron, I think we need to go ahead and just set up a website and see what happens. Yeah. And we came up with the name One Board Family, BOARD. Board games are central to how we interact with friends and other people. Yeah. I was a video gamer for a long time. Right. I played video games from the time I was 5 years old, original Nintendo, original NES, through PlayStation 5. I've moved away from video games as my primary entertainment source. Yeah. Because board games offer this communal setup that is hard to get anywhere else. Right. So, the face-to-faceness of it is really great. Let's talk about that for a second. Yeah. What are some values that you think are brought in when people sit around the table and play board games with one another? Specifically, you can cite from your own family, because I love how your family interacts in game time. Yeah, so I would say understanding how to win and lose gracefully. We have one of my kids was a sore loser. She admits to it. our youngest one, she was a sore loser. It was so funny. She was 7 years old and she was beating us in Settlers of Catan. And I'm like, a 7-year-old shouldn't beat two full-grown adults who have been playing it for many years.
So you switched on the juice, didn't you?
Yeah. And so, but she was a sore loser. When she didn't win, it was a bad time for everybody. Yeah. And so we had to teach those skills. We would sit down beforehand and we would say, all right, are you okay? If you lose tonight, are you okay? Do you feel like you could contain it if you lost? And there were times when she said no, and we'd say, okay, it might not be time for you to play games.
Yeah.
And then there were times when she said, yeah, I can handle it this time. And it matured her a lot, I think. It matured her for, in a lot of ways, facing disappointment and success and leveling that out.
Oh, what a powerful way also to allow someone to be introspective enough to know how they're feeling at a moment, and to communicate that. Am I going to be okay tonight? Is my ego going to be able to take it? With everything else that I've been through today, is my ego going to be able to take it if I lose this game? Yeah. That also teaches, asking those questions teaches a fair amount of introspection and the ability to prepare yourself emotionally. So that's really cool.
It's also communication. Communication within board games is really important.
Yeah.
I just finished recording my top 10 list of 2023, top 10 board games released during that period of time.
And we'll definitely put the links to those in the show notes so that everybody can see those. But yeah, do check it out. Top 10 of 2023.
Yeah. And so what surprised me about it is that there were 2 games in that list that were cooperative games.
Oh, wow.
My wife, Erin, doesn't play cooperative games. She doesn't enjoy them. Mm-hmm. She's very competitive. That's her nature. And so we like competing, and it's actually bettered our marriage competing. And she talks a little bit of smack, but it's fun because we get at each other a little bit, and then we walk away from the game table, and it's nothing but love.
That's fantastic.
But there's 2 cooperative games on there, because the 2 cooperative games that I picked require communication in a way that develops people.
Yeah.
And so
that's fantastic.
That's huge.
I love that. Let's switch gears. We'll talk a little bit more about that at the after show. And if you're listening to this right now and you want to get the rest of that content with Ryan in terms of talking about board games, communication, and being a family and playing games, then definitely do check out our page. I'll make sure to put it in the page notes, in the podcast notes, so that you can get it. But let's talk real quick about, there's 2 conventions that are currently going on that you guys are taking part in. One's actually going to be this weekend. And talk to us a little bit about what One Board Family is doing in Georgia as a whole.
Yeah, so in Georgia, within Columbus, One Board Family has been involved in game days from one of the first ones that we partnered with was Downtown Elementary Magnet Academy, DEMA down on 2nd Avenue. They asked us, I was helping with the Partners in Education program through my work, and we pitched the idea. We said, what about a family game day after hours? And they said, we'll see. And then eventually it got to the point of, let's try. And when they tried, what they found was that people would come out for games that normally wouldn't come out for a parent-teacher meeting or anything like that. We had one of the teachers approach us and say, this student is in 5th grade and I've never seen their father before, and their father came out for game day.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And so we've done game days for schools. We've done game days for individuals.
Fantastic.
We do stuff like that within our community, but also for conventions. I'm leading a couple learn to plays up at a convention called Dice and Diversions.
Yeah.
This is the very first year. It's put on by the crew that does Southern Fried Gaming Expo, which is phenomenal. It's a summer convention. This is the first one, and it's going to be a proper board game convention for Atlanta long term.
Wow.
And so this is the first year, and I'm excited. I'm going to be teaching some games. I'm going to be assisting. I'm going to be actually the caller for a game called Ready, Set, Bet, which is a horse racing game. And so I'm going to be the caller yelling out horses as I roll
That's
dice.
fantastic.
Yeah.
That's going to be really cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward now to playing that game. So I'll have to check it out. Is it just now coming out? Is that
Ready Set Bet came out last year
Okay.
or a year before, but it's up to 8 players are throwing their chips in, and somebody's calling the race, and the horses are just galloping along.
That's
and
cool.
you're trying to place your bets. It's really fun. So.
That's a cool adventure. Well, yeah. So I definitely want to do a shout out for your Instagram, man. Your reviews of board games are fantastic and really have been informative in what we've started to bring on in our family and those kind of things. And so, man, that's been invaluable. What is one of the things that if you had to speak to Columbus about getting involved with board games in their own families, in their own friend units, and that kind of thing, what's a pathway to that they could get involved in?
I've heard people say, I don't like board games.
Yeah.
And then I've sat that person down and I've put a board game in front of them that they connect with, and they say, maybe I like board games. And that is the response of a lot of people.
Yeah.
I've been with families that the husband says, I don't like board games. My whole family loves them, but I don't get down with them. You put the right board game in front of that person
right.
that they connect with, whether it's theme, whether it's a mechanic that they like really connect in their brain with, like I see how this works.
Yeah.
You become a fan.
Yeah.
And so
that's powerful.
Yeah.
That's
so
cool.
Just find the thing you like.
Yeah.
Investigate, go down the rabbit hole, because for every board game mechanic, there's thousands of board games that use that mechanic.
And that's just it. There are such a plethora of board games. And thank you for doing One Board Family so that you can we can sift through and find the right kind of games for the right times, and ones that maybe everybody can connect with. And so that's fantastic. Ryan, thank you for being a guest today. Just want to also mention to all of our listeners that a One Board Family and Ryan are going to be sort of helping out at Columbus Got Game on some Thursdays. So check our schedule on Columbus Got Game to see when they're going to be coming by. But tonight, actually, you're going to be teaching a game tonight.
Yeah, well, I've got a bag full of games behind me. We're going to teach some games. I've got stuff for little kids. I got stuff for big kids. I got stuff for people who just want to learn something new.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thanks for keeping Columbus nerdy.